Hello antique fans and welcome to my antique channel. I'm Deanna from Vintage Touch Antiques. You know, sometimes I like to share with you the things that I have for sale, the things that I've found, the things that I have sold, and also I like to share with you once in a while the things that are part of my own personal collection. So that is what I'm going to do today, and I've got here along with me my personal collection of printed lithograph fabric dolls that are from the 1900s and early 20th century. These dolls are quite sought after, hard to come by, loved by primitive people who love primitives, and also folk art collectors like them because they do have such a beautiful simplistic nature about them. So I'm going to start off with my all-time favorite, which is my large rag doll. As you can see, she's quite a large doll here, and this doll has been with me for a long time, and she does have a patent date on the foot of 1900. She is from the Art Fabric Mills dolls is the name that is on her. A lot of them you will not find brand names or things like this on them. But anyway, this doll, if you recognize her, she's the doll that I used the picture of her for the avatar for my business. So she's very special to me. And you know, you will see stains and things, and that's characteristic of these early pieces. And her little dress, of course, is just ragged and falling apart. And I just don't have the heart to change it. I like to put my dolls on display, so I don't have massive collections. I usually have them according to the amount of space that I have to show them. And then if I want to upgrade something, then I have to be willing to give something up. So that's my first one, and she's like 24 inches long. And along with her is her little sister doll. This one has a little red dress. As you can see, she has her little printed shoes and little underwear. The bloomers and stuff there have little bows on them and so forth. And again, they're quite faded. You will hardly find them any other way if they're original because they've been around a while. And when you're 100 years old or thereabout, you can expect that out of fabric. They are, for the most part, solid cotton stuffed dolls, and they came as printout pieces of cloth, lithograph fabric, that you would home construct the dolls after you sewed it together and stuffed them. So that's how they came about, for the most part, this particular kind of doll. Also, from about 1890, I think, or maybe, yeah, 1890s, I have this sweet little Blue Boy printed lithograph fabric doll. As you can see, he's, again, cotton stuffed, very cute little doll with the shoes and so forth. Another early doll from 1890 or thereabout is this little doll that's called Diana. And she's a sweet little black doll, and she has her name right there on the back, Diana. So she's an easily identifiable one. And then along that same line, they made animals. And this is an early one, and it does have an early patent date on the bottom, this little dog. He's about 7 inches tall, and he has the early patent date on there of about 1890. I think it's 1893 or something like that. Again, muted collars, but just wonderful little pieces. Another favorite of mine is my little rabbit. Now he's got a little bit of a floppy ear there because this is a straw stuffed one, again about 7 inches tall there. You can see the front and the back. Just a sweet little rabbit if you're a rabbit lover. And I bring him out at Easter times often. And then the cats. I have a couple of cats, a little one and a large one. Now, you can find these cats in reproductions a lot. I see them around a lot, but to find the early ones is a little bit more of a battle. Here's the little one, again about that same size as the little dog and rabbit. Just look at the fabric on them, and if they look too new or if there's something about them that doesn't look quite right, then you may realize that you have a repro. But that's the larger one, and it has that solid base there. Not as much fading on the bottom, of course, because it always sat on the bottom. Very solid. And then also along with that, now this is not a printed cloth one, this is a homemade one that has embroidery. But I always show this along with my other ones because it's very similar, and it was a home constructed one that someone just cut the pattern out apparently and stuffed it with cotton and then embroidered the features on the piece. Along with those types of lithograph fabric dolls, I have two dolls that are Amish Rag Dolls, and they date back to the 19th century as well. Now this one is a 22-inch one, and the Amish Rag Dolls are just home constructed dolls, hard to come by to get the really old ones. They usually don't have faces, and the reason for that, as I've learned, is because it has something to do with the Amish belief about looking on a graven image, and so they have them without faces. Now she has her nice blue calico little dress on here, very faded, ragged, but again adding to the primitive charm of this little doll. And she's got a little slip under there and her black cotton stocking feet. A great one to put with your primitives, like I said, sought after. They command a pretty good price if you can find them. Just love this doll. Along with that particular doll, I have another one, and remember I said they usually have no faces, but sometimes a clever little child comes along and puts a face on them. So this one, even though it's very hard and straw stuffed, she's even earlier than the other one, probably because of the straw stuffing, but maybe not. But she's had that face drawn on her, and she's clothed in just a little cotton dress there. And then in addition to the Amish Rag Dolls and the lithograph printed dolls, my 20th century dolls that I have would include this Raggedy Andy. Now this one is a Johnny Gruelle 1920 copyright. This one has the black outline nose. And these dolls are, you know, along the same line as far as their inspiration, I guess, to make these printed cloth because their face is printed. And that was the tag that I showed you. So there's this one, and he's 1920 copyright. And then I have two Raggedy Anns that their latest copyright is 1947, and they are Georgine novelties, along with Raggedy Andy. He was a Georgine novelties. They all have the two have their tags. The Andy and this one has the tag that says Johnny Gruelle. As you can see, there's a little difference here. In 1947, there's no black outline nose, so they've changed them. But you can tell that this one does have age from the new Raggedy Anns. And then this one. She no longer has her tag, but you can identify her again by her features. And again, I love these dolls, and I have them out on display and around. They populate my family room, and some are in my kitchen. And so they really do go with the primitive look, and I just really enjoy them, and I hope you've enjoyed them. And like I said, if you come along and see any of these at an affordable price, it might do you well to go ahead and pick them up because they are sought after. And so that concludes this collection video. And before I close, let me tell you that I do have one printed cloth lithograph doll for sale. Now, she is in my antique booth right now, and I will put a picture of her at the end of this video. And she is straw stuffed, and she's a real cute one, so you might want to check that out. So before I close, let me direct your attention to the description of the video, where you'll find links to my webpage, and there you can see a lot of my featured items for sale, and also my online store where I have a lot of vintage items as well as antique pieces. Let me invite you to visit my antique booth in Antique Crossroads. You'll find my booth on the left side of that large mall, third row. Just look for the large Vintage Touch sign that hangs in the back of my booth. And before I close, let me invite you to subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you. If you have, thank you for subscribing. And finally, let me encourage you to enjoy your antiques, because when you own an antique, you own a piece of history. So bye-bye for now.